Let's have a look at the 2017 rookies to the World Championship Tour and how choosing the right ones can help you excel in Fancy Surfer in 2017. What's up guys? It's January, or at least at the time of filming this video it is. What better time to start looking ahead to the World Championship Tour? Granted it's still a few months away, but I'm not sure about you, I already can't contain my excitement and wanted to share something about it. I thought what better way to start than looking at the rookies we've got for the 2017 season as they come on in the bottom tier of the World Surf League's version and in the bottom price brackets for the Surfer Mag version, so choosing them can really help you excel against your opponents as they're the bracket where it's easy to make your big gains. Particularly on the Surfer Mag version, where choosing a rookie at a low price at the beginning of season can really pay off if they perform well and by the end of the season have quadrupled in price. Take Matt Wilkinson for example last year. Yes, he wasn't a rookie, but he was real cheap at the start of the season and ended up quite expensive, and okay, his performance tailed off. But if it didn't and you had him in your team, you could have done really well. Owen Wright a few years ago was a great example of that. When he came back after injury, was really cheap, loads of people got him in their team and benefited from that all year, particularly when it got to the end of the year and the pipeline type events where he excels. If you're not familiar with how rookies are chosen, very briefly, there are 10 slots on the World Qualifying Series every year where guys can qualify from the qualifying series obviously onto the World Championship Tour. In reality 10 surfers don't usually qualify because some of the guys from the CT compete on the qualifying series to back up their place and end up falling off on the CT but re-qualifying on the qualifying series. So this year Jadson Andre, Jeremy Flores and Jack Freestone all fell off on the CT but managed to secure a place by finishing in the top 10 on the qualifying series. That leaves us 7 slots for rookies. Let's have a look at who they are. First up, we've got Connor O'Leary from Cronulla in Australia, age 23 and a goofy foot surfer. He's known for having a clean, crisp and powerful style. 2016 was actually only his second shot at qualifying on the QS. His first shot in 2015, he also came very close to qualifying, so his first 2 shots at the QS, really consistent, up there in the mix. His second shot finishing first on the QS, let's face it, with results like that, it's probably going to be one to watch. Despite saying he's looking forward to big left-hand tubes, he actually performed pretty well in the waves offered on the QS, getting a first at the Budobo Pro, which was surfed in pretty good conditions and a 10,000 event, and a second at the Carve Pro. For those of you who don't know, the Budobo Pro, being a 10,000 event, attracts bigger surfers and is usually contested in better surf than a lot of the QS events, so it bodes well for how he's going to perform on the Championship Tour. Next up we have the young gun Ethan Ewing from North Stabroek Island in Australia, aged 18 and a regular foot surfer. Took the Rookie of the Year award for the Men's Triple Crown of Surfing in 2016. It was his first full year at competing on the World Qualifying Series. It's pretty impressive to qualify on your first full shot at it, let alone to qualify up so high. So Ethan, being so young, is clearly going to be a name to watch, and it'll be interesting to see how he can mix with the big names being so young. He had a much busier year than Connor O'Leary, partly because he was competing on the Junior Series. His results included wins at the Burley Pro, the Subway Pro Junior Avoca, the NIB Pro Junior, the Subway Pro Junior Phillip Island, the Subway Pro Junior SA, the Essential Costa Rica Cup, backed up by a few other strong results. Next up we have a name you may be a little more familiar with, Frederico Moraes from Cascais in Portugal, age 24 and a regular foot surfer. He's another former Rookie of the Year at the Men's Triple Crown of Surfing back in 2013, and you may recognise his name from performances in the 2016 CT as a wildcard, where he managed to take down Gabriel Medina and Connor Coffin at his home event in Portugal. Despite the strong result on the CT, he only managed to win 1 event on the QS at the Masnike Pro, but he did back this up with second places at the Haliva and Sunset events in Hawaii, which always attract big names and stronger, powerful surf, so it bodes well for how he's going to perform in the CT. Following that up, we have Joanne Deroux from France, age 27 and a strong, powerful goofy footer. He actually tied for a qualifying spot the year before last and only lost on countback. So again, he's another surfer that's had 2 strong years in a row on the QS, which is certainly good in terms of consistency. I have mixed feelings about how Joanne's going to perform on the CT. Strong, powerful backhand surfing is rewarded well, but you need some versatility in there too. As being a goofy footer, he won't be able to rely on that at Chopes, Fiji and Pipeline, for example. He only had 1 win on the QS, but backed that up with a really consistent year, including loads of 7 for better places on the rest of the events. For me, it's whether he's going to be able to convert that into competing strongly on the CT CT though. The QS events are generally held in very different waves to the CT, where I think it's easier to score bigger points than forehand surfing when it's grovelly. Next up, a name you may be a little more familiar with, Leonardo Fioravanti, hailing from Rome but living in France. He's only 18 years old, he's a regular footer that had a number of CT wildcard slots in 2016. He's the stepson of Stephen Bell, who you may recognise from Kelly Slater fame. He worked at Quicksilver for many years and very closely with Kelly Slater. Leonardo, being his stepson, was obviously therefore immersed in surfing from a young age and spent a lot of time around the big names that we all know. So unlike a lot of the rookies that are going to be coming onto the tour and surfing against and with these guys for the first time, Leonardo is probably going to be a bit more comfortable with that, and that really shows from his CT performances in 2016, where he finished 5th at the Margaret River Pro and 13th in Rio and France, which, let's face it, are quite different events from each other. Okay, Rio and France share a lot of similarities, but Margaret River couldn't be more different from those two. So it's going to be interesting to see what Leo does. It is interesting that although Leo did so well on the CT, he didn't actually win any events on the QS, but obviously had a very consistent year to still manage to qualify. He was also competing in the juniors, and his consistent results did include 5 podium places. Next up, we have Ian Guevara from Brazil, age 25, a goofy footer with a Curran-esque style. Although don't pigeonhole him, like most of the Brazilian surfers, he's pretty versatile too, and no stranger to going to the air and being able to land some pretty impressive aerials. He only won one QS event on the 2016 QS Tour at the Azores Airline Pro, which was rounded off in fairly good head-high to head-high and a bit surf. I think one thing to bear in mind as well is the competitive spirit that all Brazilians seem to bring to surfing. Once they step up to the CT, they seem a lot more ready for competition than people from other nations, for example. Now, rounding off the 7 guys we have coming onto the CT, we have Ezekiel Lau from Honolulu in Hawaii, age 23, and is a strong, powerful regular footer. Zeke only just snuck onto the 2017 tour thanks to a really strong performance by his friend Kanoa Igarashi at the Pipeline event at the end of the year, which meant that he no longer needed to rely on his top 10 QS finish, and Zeke was promoted up into the qualifying zone. Obviously, because he was the last one on the QS to qualify, he has the worst results of the guys we've just covered. He didn't take one win on the QS in 2016, although I wouldn't read into this much. Zeke's a big guy with a big powerful style. You don't have to follow the QS to know that the QS events are normally held in sloppier, grovelier waves, which just wouldn't suit someone with that style. You only need to look at the fact that Zeke calls Pipeline one of his favourite waves and look at his build to imagine that his style of surfing would suit the CT much more. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he can step up from how he was surfing on the QS due to the waves suiting his style more. There are the 7 new faces on the World Championship Tour. I hope this gives you a bit of insight about them. If you have any questions or further insight, let me know in the comments below. Given that the season's yet to start yet, I think you guys should share your predictions in the comments below for 2017. It can either be the winner of the season as a whole, or who you think is going to win the first event, or the 5th event, or the last event. Who's going to do the trick of the year? It'd be really cool just to see what your predictions are. It'd be pretty cool at the end of the year to do a roundup of the comments and see which ones of you got them right. So please don't be shy and let us know. If you've enjoyed this video, I will be doing Fancy Surfer videos throughout 2017, like I did last year, sharing my team, sharing why I chose my surfers to help you choose your team too. So if you'd like to see those, please press that circle button up there. It'll subscribe you to my channel for free. Fancy surf is not all I do though, and if you'd like to see some of the other stuff I do, click that video up there and it'll take you to a board review I recently did for a catch surf surfboard. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and I'll see you soon.